My name is Marco Glorious, and I want people to know that I am a benevolent human being, a charismatic individual, and somebody who always tries to put their best foot forward.
My name is John Gom Jr., and I would like people to know that I am an entrepreneur and a business owner.
My name is Simeon Cumberbatch. I like to mentor. I like to take people under my wing and teach them things that possibly they didn't know before. I love having knowledge.
My name is Anwar Taylor. The main thing I want people to know about me is that I am a relationship broker. I have a huge passion for bringing people together of similar skill sets in order for them to grow in their personal as well as their business and career lives.
Male role models were my father and actually the sensei of my self-defense school that I took self-defense from the age of 15 up until about the age of 30.
I grew up with many male role models. My father was probably the biggest, but along my journey, I've had many along the way.
I was a kid my father worked a lot, so movies kind of, individuals, characters in movies like really related to me. My dad was a role model. Rocky, Sylvester Stallone was my favorite movie as a kid. But for as long as I can remember, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, and those are my biggest role models.
Dozens, to be honest, but I'd say from my father being the primary, I've also had coaches, I had teachers that played a huge role, and frat brothers that had continually played a huge role in my life. I'd say I'm a role model for a group of 11th and 12th grade boys at my church. I'm one of the adult leaders there. I'm also a role model for my younger frat brothers. I try to be available as much as I can for them. And honestly, I just believe that anybody who I come in contact with, I just try to do my best to be that example.
I can say I'd be a role model for my employees and the people that are closest to me as far as friends are concerned, because we all roll in the same circle as in entrepreneurship.
I host a variety of events, so I do interact with a lot of children, a lot of kids, adolescents from ages from 10 to 16 on a regular basis. So I try to put my best foot forward in regards to them. People tell me that a lot of kids that I work with or kids events that I host, they look up to me. A lot of kids follow me on social media, so I try to be a role model for them.
I'm a role model for my daughter. I'm a role model for others who are young and need direction. I try to be the role model for people who need direction.
I think the biggest thing that should remain in the profession of men is being there in whatever role that they're needed at the time. There isn't going to be one particular role that they have to play, but understanding that you need to be available for that given responsibility or that given problem.
I don't really see there being a specific male role versus just a strong positive influence role. I don't think it could only be a male.
But for me, I think a man is strength. Women are strength as well, but as a man, sometimes you have to forgo your feelings when it comes to decision making.
That we're strong, that we get things, we take care of things, we get things done. That young males need to follow behind older males who have things to offer them, maturity, counseling, just being there for them as a support.
But it's interesting to hear what you're saying about the children, because
I am so disheartened by these kids. Every single day I come home and I have to really, you hot now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what's the information that's put out through the media and through television and so on and so forth?
It's garbage.
You don't need a man.
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying.
My hands.
I'm just saying. Yep. So these people get vilified. These men get vilified for maybe like lightly grazing a butt. Look, I'm not about men grabbing my cheeks. You know what I mean? But a light grays. I'm like, oh.
First,
And then for Cardi B to be out here, I was dropping whatever the drugs are called in the drinks. And she's like, I had to do it to get by when I was a stripper, whatever the hell. And people are like, that was hot for like a week. And now we've all forgotten. Yeah. So that's fine.
Yeah, and Bill Cosby
is in jail.
And this is what kids are seeing though. Yeah. And you know the algorithm, the more that they click, the more that they get fed whatever it is that they've clicked. That's what they're seeing.
And I use Cardi B as an example a lot. I'll just be on the phone during the day with people, like good friends of mine that are also business. We get into these conversations. And I say to them, what are we emulating?
What are we emulating?
We are glorifying fake. Kim Kardashian, we're glorifying fake and disregarding real shit.
Real stuff.
It's mind-boggling to me that, what is it, Kylie, right? Kylie, the youngest one, right? Has a lip product line.
Yep.
When, no offense to her lips are bought. So it's like, you guys are emulating, you want your lips to be like hers, and you're buying her products to make it seem like you will have lips like hers.
Which are
bought. So if you want lips like hers, buy them, buy the lips, don't buy the products.
Yeah.
And now she's the
you
youngest
want results?
billionaire.
Don't go to the gym. Pump your ass up.
Right.
Get some booze.
So unfortunately, you're fighting human nature, right? So you're fighting what is stimulating and exciting versus what is mundane and also foundational.
Yeah,
you're fighting that, and that is almost ingrained to how we're wired.
It's a generational thing happening right now.
It is. But at the same time, I had this conversation with someone the other day, and if you were to see a TV show that is riddled with just fake life,
right?
How much did the reality TV boom take over our generation?
Oh yeah.
But we realized at a very early point it's fake, but I'm addicted to it because
I'm entertained by it. It's entertaining.
But as a foundation, we had Family Matters. We had Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
We did.
Exactly. So we did. We had a foundation of actual. It was an actual foundation. They touched upon family issues, how to get through these family issues.
Values.
Will Smith, Complex put it up on Instagram a couple days ago. 25 years ago, yesterday, they put up the episode of Will Smith about crying about his father.
Oh yeah, right.
They said it was the saddest episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was like the third or fourth episode.
Oh.
Real shit. Mm-hmm. What are the kids? What are we feeding people?
That transitioned into Richard Bay's show and all these other crazy shows about my boyfriend, your husband, your man, your baby daddy did this to me. And then it went to those crazy talk shows, and everybody was glued to them. Sally, Jesse, Raphael, they were all on.
Yeah.
Oprah was part of it also at some point.
Yeah.
So it went from what you're talking about to that. Mm-hmm. To where there's just
Jersey
a flux.
Shore.
Jersey Shore, there's just a complete flux now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a toss-up.
I don't even watch TV. I don't know.
I don't watch TV either.
I don't know.
I do.
I'm not interested.
I watch animal shows.
I do. I work in television.
They're still real.
But what people don't realize is it sucks because the general public, the masses are ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a fact.
But we're glorifying ignorance.
Right. I can't front. I watch.
Sad, but you're absolutely correct.
Yes. I can't front. I watch ignorant television at times, but I do feel that I have the intelligence
to know the difference.
To realize that this is I'm entertained by this. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to emulate this. And most people don't have that capability. They watch this and they say, oh, that's how I should do it? That's how I should act to my significant other? Or that's how I should act to my parents, my family? And it's messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix it.
Well, I think it goes back to having conversations at the table or having conversations with your family or your guardians or whoever those mentors are. Like when there used to be apprenticeships, there used to be mentorships. Those were like those were parallels of which we don't have but are creating.
So and when we've talked, this is something that I put a lot of study into, right? The issue with that is that it is mentee driven. You can have somebody that takes an interest in a younger person, or even a peer. There's peer mentorship, there's reverse mentorship, all that type. But it's mentee driven. If that person is not receptive enough to say, I want to learn the difference, I want to know a perspective that I don't have now, it's going to fall on deaf ears. They're not going to get the same sort of divider that we got, where we can sit there and we could listen to to Chief Keef and Cardi B. We can listen to all that, but know what real life is and know some of the foundational stuff.
How to code switch, for
Yeah,
instance. That doesn't happen.
These
kids are not code switching.
They don't have that because they don't have not just enough people to be able to invest in them, but they also don't realize the critical need to be able to reach out and say, hey, I need help. Because that part is not taught. That part is not taught to say, hey, I need help. There's a place in my life that I am missing a huge component. I see that you have it. Can you show me what's up? People don't know how to do that, and the younger generation hasn't been given that because we still, I think as our generation, struggle to ask for help. So they don't see that.
I think it's a problem with familial units being broken up and not even existing.
So
with kids being raised without the father image.
Yeah.
Without
I was going to touch upon that as far. Go ahead.
Mother, father. No, please step in.
Going deeper than rap, we have people having children super young and probably the most expensive time in history. Now you have parents that are having children as children that both need to work 2 jobs just to be able to afford an apartment. Where does the kid get coached if both parents are at work all day? Whereas your father, I'm sure, was at work. Maybe your mother, I don't know the situation. Maybe your mother was at home.
Nope.
But at some point or another, your father came home and sat, there was always like for me, I don't care where you are, bicycle, basketball, whatever, your ass better be fucking home at 5:30 in the night and we're eating dinner, all of us together. You better be here. If you're not here, you already know.
Whoa.
You already know.
You already know.
Correct.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I never got beat in my life. Ever. His voice was enough to put you in a corner.
Right.
I learned from my brother.
That's it.
He screwed up, and I watched him.
That's it.
I ain't doing that.
And then you went to martial arts and you were like, freak basketball.
So now we're at a time where you don't have that. You have people that are exhausted because they're both working so hard just to be able to afford, especially where we live, the Northeast.
To pay for health insurance.
To pay for anything.
Yeah.
Car insurance, a car, rent, groceries.
Yeah.
People are not getting paid properly to have children, and they're pumping children out like it's a job. Like, this is not the 50s.
Yeah.
And I can't touch upon the 50s. I wasn't born in the 50s. But what I'm saying is, it's expensive to have a child. And now I feel like now more than ever.
You're right. Especially up here.
Right.
But the children, because of social media, et cetera, are getting fed all this, Jersey Shore, all the crap we're talking about. They're having children at 16 years old, because they don't have the guidance to say, no, that's not the right way.
Well, you got Kylie. I'm sorry. Sorry. It's fine.
So who's there?
It's fine.
Who's there to give?
That's what I'm saying. Who's there?
So let's just say that you have, again, the 2-parent household that both of them have to work, right? And that's not a quick fix. As much as we have different initiatives to try to help out with that, we know it's not a quick fix. Who can we show them that is available to them as a sort of secondary, whether it be coaches, whether it be teachers? How can we show them how to be able to realize that there's other male figures that are out there? Your father may not be there all the time, whether they are passed away or whether they are working, but how do we teach them how to be able to seek out those positive figures?
Where are children when they're not at home? Children. Most of the day. Where are they when they're not at home?
School.
What do school teachers get paid?
How much?
That's true.
Shit.
They gotta get their own stuff to fill the classroom.
Who's motivated to mentor anybody when you yourself as a teacher can't afford your own lifestyle? You're struggling, you're stressed. You're on social media while your kids are taking a test because you're looking for the escape.
If we even go to this educational convo, now you got Common Core, you're teaching to the test. There's no point in being a teacher because you can't creatively teach. You can only teach to what this test tells you, which the tests are every other week. And the kids are all failing because they don't understand how you're teaching towards this test. Some kids are kinetic learners. Everybody has ADD. Everybody has autism. And you have to have IEPs or specialized education for these kids. And then by the time these kids get home, the parents are exhausted, and they're exhausted to even think about their specialized kid. It's too much.
Or their regular kid.
Or anybody.
Who needs a little attention.
And the kids may even be like, you know what? I'm good. Don't worry about me, mom and dad.
And then everybody turns to the phone to escape it all. The parents are at home. If they had time to have dinner, they're on the phone. They're looking at Instagram.
When we were at Morgan's the other day and I showed you those kids.
Little kids.
Little kids.
At the
seen the
table
kid
with the family.
2, 3, 4 years old.
iPad with the high
shouldn't be allowed. Like,
That's right.
phones should not be at the dinner
At the
table.
You know where I was?
Table.
You know where I was as a child in the restaurant? We used to go out to eat every Monday night at Tracy's. You remember Tracy's in Little Fair?
I do.
Okay, we used to go to
I'm
Tracy's
dead.
every night, every Monday night. You know where I was? At the bar, talking to the bartender Mike, just bullshitting, hanging out with adults. With
at the bar.
adults at all
No one was
times.
expecting
There was
that
no
response.
games, there was no headphones, there was none of this.
No, there was communique.
There was communication. It was
See,
with
but see,
adults
you
at
had
all
that,
times.
You had that older figure. You had the space that was opened up to be able to have that older figure.
My parents had me old. My father was.
No,
they were able
I'm
to
in the
pass
same
on
boat,
a
yeah.
wisdom,
Yeah,
not a childhood.
Yeah.
My father was 40, my mother was 30.
yeah,
It's a big difference when you were 16, 17, 20 years old having a child.
yeah.
My father's been
Wait,
through
your father
this.
was 40 when he had you? And your
Yes.
mama was 30?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's funny. My mother was 40 and my father was 30.
Okay, so the roles are reversed.
Okay.
When they had
Oh.
me. Yeah,
But there's a different wisdom you pass on as an older.
that's very true.
I believe the same. I don't think I would like to have kids until I'm around 35, 36.
So they had the net.
That's always what I thought, because that's
You
how
came
they
on
were.
board, 36.
I was like, that's my max, because that's what they did.
What am I gonna? I mean, thank God I've done well for myself. What am I gonna? I don't even have time for myself. How can I have time for a child? What am I gonna teach you? Why not get financially stable,
You're right.
pass wisdom from becoming financially stable, because you learn a lot along that route, the route.
Hopefully you've learned a lot.
Hopefully you learned a lot.
I mean, ideally, that's what we all want. I mean,
Ideally, and then life
that's what
happens.
I wanted. But, life didn't happen like that for me.
Well, if it's unexpected, it's unexpected. You got to do what you have to do.
Correct. So
And you're going off of what, your relationship with your father. And like you said, you're saying, I love you every day. You're doing this. You're passing a wisdom your father didn't pass to you.
Yeah, you know what though? It's so funny because I don't know if him doing him the way that he was might have just forged me to be opposite off of jump.
That's real.
NPC.
That's real.
So it's kind of crazy because my mother.
Learning in the reverse.
I don't know.
That's going.
My mother, she'll say some things to me like I cannot let a woman walk on the outside.
Of the street.
Of the curve.
Yeah.
Of the curve.
I can't.
Right.
My dad never did that. My dad never.
Do you think that was cultural?
I don't know.
Like, he grew up in India, right?
Yeah.
Like, are there? I mean, I've been to India, but I don't know where he grew up. But like, are there
Bombay.
curves? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bombay was like, it's like New York City.
Yeah.
of India.
Where'd you learn that then?
I don't know.
Maybe you picked it up because you was a sponge.
My mom asked me that. Like, where did you get that from?
Oh.
Like, I don't really know.
I'd be curious. If you track that down, to a specific memory, because I would almost bet it's either been somebody who was close to you that you saw it on a reoccurring basis.
Could have even been a TV show you liked. Or
It might have been something like that.
Subconsciously.
Because,
Because
like,
you mentioned your role models were people that were on TV, though.
I was a kid. I was the only child for like my whole life. So, and I played.
child?
All right.
Child? No.
Sorry, guys.
I'm not in that boat, but I respect y'all.
Bye.
Two brothers now, but my mom and my dad, I was the only child.
Yeah. Cool.
So I had a lot of time to myself. I watched a lot of television. I watched movies. I read a lot, but my mom asked me, like, where did you like? My dad is not really the door opening type. I do that. I make it a point to do that. I make it a point to do that with my mom. It doesn't matter. My mom.
Maybe that was it. You were taking care of your mom, like, in a way that maybe you saw was
Subconsciously.
absent.
I'm curious
on a
if we saw the
subconscious
specific
level.
action though, and that's.
I'm actually pretty fascinated by it
curious
too.
of that.
Like, did you hang out? Did you interact with any of your mom's relatives or siblings, men?
No. My mom was very active in the church, but so I was kind of.
What about the pastor?
Pastor was a female.
I have I won't say it's a theory, but I have something that I highlighted in the book, right, where mentors or role models aren't necessarily always, one of y'all mentioned, you remember your family matters.
Yes.
They're not going to always be real figures. One of the people that I highlight was E.T. or Eric Thomas, right? I followed him. There's certain things that
I just met him.
there's certain.
I don't know who that is.
We'll talk afterwards.
Yeah,
There's certain attributes that I had subscribed to his channel and started to watch what he does as far as how he builds his business, but also how he treats people. And I realized that people can have what I like to call almost a passive mentor, where they're not necessarily having that personal relationship with you, but you watch them enough and are purposely being attentive to some of their actions because, oh, that's something that I
want to do, right?
You know, and so it could have been something that was intentional, could have been something, I'm curious if it was something that was, you know, you saw through a TV figure, since that was a major part of your interest, that you might have just picked up. But I think that that's a very real possibility.
I had a lot of respect for my father. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still do.
Yeah.
But I knew at a very young age that I just wanted to be as manly as possible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to make sure that my mom, any significant other that I had, was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just that was just me.
Yeah.
I can't put a finger.
And what does that include? Like them being good, what does that include?
Just meaning, okay, that they feel provided for, they feel protected, they feel stimulated.
Emotional, financially, what?
Yeah, all those things.
Yeah, and of course, you know, like, life is life. You're gonna have shortcomings in different areas. But, you know, if you're putting your best foot forward in a majority of the categories that you wanna put your best foot forward, then the person that you're with, your significant other, is gonna reciprocate that.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
So
You're gonna compliment.
that's how I kind of approach things.
Do you guys feel like you're the last frontier? The last of the Mohicans?
No, I feel like if that happens, we failed as a generation.
That's how I feel like it is.
I feel like if you're not going to always, I mean, and both of you guys are parents, like, I feel like if you don't see your children progress beyond where you have been, then you feel like, hey, then what did I not do right? And correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm not a parent yet that I know of.
No.
I'll call the way later on.
Right. Just like get an update.
And confirm that.
I'm dead.
But that's something that I wound up hearing from my father, like, later on in life. It was like, I think we were kind of butting heads on some stuff, and he was like, I want you to be better than me. It's like, if you are not better than me, then I didn't do my job.
What's better include?
Yeah.
That's it. I think.
Right, like smarter, like more degreed, more passionate about whatever they do. Like you didn't just have a grind and just like go to the cubicle every day, or
it's going to be subjective to them based on their experiences. Knowing my pops, it's been impacting how we treat people and how we take care of people. Like that, I know that's very specific to him.
That model.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I want to know about you, not you.
Yeah.
You like to blanket generalize. Everything's relative. I know that.
Yeah.
But for you and your dad, what was that?
It's definitely impact. Everywhere he went, I saw the charisma, not necessarily of Flash, but of how he took care of people, how people were gravitated to him. You had some got a chance to read a snippet of the book, and I highlighted, you know, he used to take us back to his old neighborhood in Philly, and I would see even the people that necessarily didn't leave the area, that it's called what it was. Like, some of them were alcoholics, some of them were dope fiends, but you could see how he treated them with the same respect.
Right.
And if there was anything that he could do for them at the time, like, he would do. And I saw that early on. And for me, that was always my model of success, is how much of an impact can I have? I'm still finding my niche of how I do that, but that's something that I really understood from him was how well do you take care of the people around you? If the people in your sphere of influence, if they're not better because you were there, then what are you doing?
Do you feel like your father did the same thing for his circle of people?
You know, as
Who was your dad's circle of people?
My father didn't have a lot of circles.
Right, he was a loner John.
My father worked in Bethlehem Steel shipyards in Hoboken, and as a matter of fact, we moved from Brooklyn, New York to Hoboken, New Jersey, basically following Bethlehem Steel, because he had somewhat steady work. It wasn't really steady, but it was steady enough. And his brothers, my uncles, weren't as helpful as they could have been. My father was disgruntled, as I found out later on, that, and I can't give you a reason why, but my grandmother hid a certificate that he had gotten for a scholarship to go to a tailoring school, and she hid it in the drawer, and he never had that opportunity. He never knew anything about it.
Your father?
And my father. And but the other things that I learned from my father was he never made excuses.
you treat blacks this way, you treat whites this way. I didn't get this because I'm black. I never heard him come up with an excuse, and I've never learned to have those excuses. I've always just done what I needed to do to get things done. In his time of which I had with him, he was a powerful figure because he was in my opinion, was a man's man. He set the pace, he set the tone for the house. My brothers just went off the rails for some reason. I don't know. I think I'm an aberration sometimes as to why I became.
You were the youngest.
The youngest also. Okay. Why I became the person that I did and why there were failures in others, my siblings, I don't know.
You think that influenced your career?
It influenced my career. I became a policeman at 19. I did a year of college, and then I had an opportunity to become a policeman, which I never wanted to do. And a guy said, you should try it, you should take the test. And I took the test, and I came out number one, and ego took over. So I said, you know what, let me put this college thing on hold, and I'll be a policeman for 6 months. Let me see what it takes for somebody to carry a gun. And that became 29 years of me being a policeman. Yeah.
But do you feel your father's influence or your brother's influence is?
I feel my father's influence mightily to just do the right thing and take care of my family and be the best that I can be, no matter what it is. And his dream was for me to go to college, and he never got to see me finish college and to get my master's degree and to just continue on and teach college classes. He never got to see those things.
That is interesting, though, if you ever thought to link like your brother's going off the rails and you having a bit of more respect for like rules.
Like off the rails and on the rails. 100%.
Right, you was on the rails.
I was on the rails.
I mean, you like a rule book, guidebooks, in the lines.
Yeah, I do, you're right. Yes,
and
I mean,
maybe it wasn't conscious, right? But that is an interesting linkage.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're not here with us now. They went hella off the rails.
And you were the youngest.
And you was carrying everybody.
So they were almost indirect mentors to you of how you didn't want to
be. Right, again,
right.
Learning in reverse.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I would have liked to have had an older brother who,
showed you the
there was a problem like that, I could go to my brother.
Of course.
I didn't have that. Yeah. It was always just me. Mm-hmm. So I that was part of my whole solo thing that I was telling you earlier. It's always just been me. I depend on me.
But you've also had nephews and other family members come out the woodies and be like, I've always looked up to you and respected you. And
yes.
I
try to do the best that I can for the family members. Yes. Without being overbearing.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Not being overbearing.
But it is interesting, like the linkages when you start to be conscious of some of those things that you weren't before because you're going about your day-to-day life. And we're all adults now, so we don't have time to be looking behind. We're just going forward and trying to get this bread.
Yeah.
But
indirect mentorship.
But
you're absolutely right.
That is interesting.
I never thought of it that way.
Because you were going to check up on them in jail or in prison or wherever, and then you was carrying people on your shoulders essentially, like the whole fam. So that's like a lot. That's like a toll. But also, you took it willingly, and that seems like a man's role. You take the toils.
It's always a like what we were just talking about, like a need to help. So as I say, your circle, your brothers were your circle. How can I help? How can I check up? How can I make sure? And my career is going to be, damn it, I'm going to make sure that I'm running this straight line.
It's funny. It's almost, I'm a huge Marvel nerd, and I think about the whole Spider-Man things. Like with great power comes that responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of leads me to the whole fluidity of a male's or a guy's role. Is if I have the power to do something, if it's for the positive, then I'm almost self-sufficient if I don't, as long as it's not putting me in a life or death situation or something like that. But why not? Like I said, I have the ability to create my own business and provide. I have the responsibility. If I have the ability to take care of my family, then I almost feel obligated to do so.
Yes.
And I think it's like one of those unwritten old school male rules of like, if I have the ability to do it, I should.
Let me ask you this: is that even
it's not an obligation. You just do it.
It's not like even a gender role though, because like is that just like a benevolent human? You know what I'm saying? Like if you can do for the people that you care about or the people that you love, you're gonna do or you should do.
Oh yes, you should. Yes.
And creating opportunities for those people as well.
In the best way that you can. Like what is the what's the best way that you can provide or like because in this day and age, I've toyed like, okay, I consider myself to be somewhat successful. All right, nice. My last relationship, she was a successful individual. Cool. I thought about like, if, let's say, could I actually be, she was a lawyer, right? And she was a good lawyer. She was new, but she was like a very good lawyer. So I said, like we toyed with the joke, could I be like, let's say a stay-at-home, like a house husband or something like that, right? Yeah. And she was like, I guess she considered herself to be a feminist or whatever, but I was like, I could do that, right? But I'm
for a finite time.
Do I want to?
Wait, but no, I said I could, but I'm gonna do all the yard work, all of it, everybody's in the neighborhood.
I'm gonna slow blowing everybody's
side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna cook, but I'm gonna do all the yard work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I make sure I feel like okay, at least
I play my part.
I'm the man still.
Man, look,
I'm still a man.
I told you, my boys and I were having this conversation a little bit about a week ago. I said, if my wife made 2 to 3, 4 times and I did, I will go to Target right now and get a big old apron and smock and be in that thing, chefing it up.
Flipping these cakes.
No problem with it. Because I'm all about what is the end goal here. And that's just part of how I was raised. Like I don't care who does it, is the job getting done. Like and honestly, some of that came from, I was in law enforcement for a few years, and some of that came from, I don't care who does it. Can we get the job done? Like it's mission first.
Partnership.
Yeah, I don't care who does it.
See, I'm a little like I don't know. I would do that, but I still got to do some stuff that it's still labeled man work. I'll cook, but I got to do some yard stuff too.
So it's almost like something that needs to be satiated.
Yeah, I mean,
it's innate.
Or just.
Or is that me just being ignorant? Right. Is that me being ignorant?
I want to go that far, but I wonder if it vacillates between like just innate. It's just like the blood that runs through your veins.
Because I shouldn't necessarily be like, okay, yes, I should.
Yeah, but shoulds are toxic because
there are certain type of men, right? This is just the way you're genetically. I feel like this is the way you're genetically built.
Hit us with his Socrates.
I'm just saying the way you're genetically built. My father, in the 70s, was an enforcer. You owed money, he collected money. He's a tough guy.
We know that.
He doesn't take shit from anybody. We used to work, my father was an antique dealer my whole life. On Thursday nights, we'd come to 25th and 6th, up the block from here, park our truck full of antiques. If there was a car in the way, he was moving it. Who was moving it? My little arm was going in the window, opening the door. We're starting it, we're moving. Whatever it took to provide for my family, he did it.
Yeah.
I feel like certain people are not exactly built that tough. And for him to go home and cook wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. It wasn't in his vocabulary. He was out there lifting furniture and going back to creating opportunities. When we used to come here Saturday and Sunday to the city, he employed ex-convicts, drug dealers, ex-cons. I mean, he gave everybody an opportunity.
Yeah.
So as far as mentors are concerned, he was the boss.
Yeah.
But I also had all these other guys that ran the other side of the fence teaching me as well. I mean, he put me in charge of the truck at 10 years old.
You were exposed to older figures.
Chelsea
early,
Manhattan was not Chelsea Manhattan that it is now. Chelsea Manhattan was prostitution, drugs. I got robbed when I was like 8 years old. It was not a place that you had a child.
Yeah.
But it was a place of adults. It was a place where I learned how to become a man.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like what he's saying, I'm that type of person that he is. I will cook, I will clean, I will do this. But my dad is like, I'm not like it's just not in his vocabulary. And he went to school to become a baker.
Really?
Oh, shoot.
But he liked being a tough guy better.
Okay.
That's just what he liked to do.
Thank you all for watching. We appreciate your viewership and your comments, of course. So please make sure to like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and we'll see you next time.